Okay, let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna go. We should be live in a second. If we're not already there, hold on 1 second. Uh, yeah, we already here. So yeah, we live, man. I lost my little thing that I used to do to kick off the show. Oh, here we go. Let's get it. Yo, what's up, man? What's good with you?
Yo, what's going on? How we doing?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm getting good. You ready for the holidays?
Man, yeah, ready for the holidays. Yep.
You should have some big money the way you beat us down in FanDuel this week. So, you should be able to give everybody, a good gift.
Man, please. It ain't over yet, but next week, big money week. That's when I need to win.
Yeah, for real. We all do. I feel you on that. But all right, man. But hey, we here once again, the guys, we do the Elite 100 and we want to chop it up with you guys. So tonight, we're going to go ahead and go with, hey, excuse me. Hold on 1 second. I have to put them on pause. Jalila,
She
I'm
forgot.
on my show. Can you please, y'all tone it down, please? Yeah, but yeah, man, we can go ahead and, get that thing going. We're talking about sponsorships for the Elite 100 game. We just had a very successful. We was both out at the Legends Showcase, free All-Star, free game. Had a tremendous amount of fun with the kids. They were able to get everything for free from hotels to. So all you guys that are going to be juniors next year, make sure that you put it down so you can get invited. But we'll focus on the seniors. We'll talk a little bit about recruiting as well, AJ. But just tell them a little bit about the sponsorship for Elite 100.
Sponsorship for Elite 100. You can still contact us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or you can send us an email, elite100prospects@gmail.com. We just actually picked up a sponsorship last week. Keen Waters out of Georgia. Am I correct?
Yeah, Keen Water is Keeen water out of it's alkaline water, natural. The owner of the company is Fahim Ali and Melvin Bratton of the U fame.
I know that name.
Yeah, so they got alkaline water, which is good, and so they'll be providing all the hydration for all the guys at the Elite 100 game, as well as at the Elite 100 Florida Minority Coaches unsigned prospect recruiting fair. And we'll talk about that when we talk about recruiting later on down the line.
All right, so you can contact us. No amount is too small. It'll obviously help go towards the cost for the players. It's a game that we don't believe in charging the players to play, so any contribution would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, and to that end, I see kids, and parents going out there paying $500, $600, $700, $800 to go to events so their kids can be quote unquote All-American. It's not about the All-American status, it's about the division free scholarship, no matter whether it's D1, D2, D3, NAIA, junior college. And that's one of our goals. We have you can go to the Florida Minority Coaches Association website. I think that's where you can register at. And it has the schools. We have 10 to 12 schools that have already committed to being there to evaluate our kids. And so that's a big thing. So we're very proud of that. Hey, man, playoffs, man. We haven't been on since in the regular season. We've been getting a lot of stuff ready. A lot goes into putting this Elite 100 game together, and then between that and then us taking time out for the Legends game. But now we're back on Elite 100. Let's talk about the playoffs, man. It was very interesting playoffs. When you say you want to start with Lake Highland Prep, actually finishing off their region, which was kind of. Go ahead.
Lake Highland, like you said, Lake Highland Prep ended the season undefeated, won a championship,
The second in a row.
consecutive in a row. And from what I'm hearing, there are rumors that they'll be coming on back over to FHSAA next year. So we'll wait to see what develops with that. But yeah, Lake Highland definitely continues their dominance.
Well, yeah, they need to come, but you had a little incident with the school they were supposed to be playing had an ineligible player. It would have been interesting to see what happened. I still think Lake Highland would have dominated, but it'd be good to see them come back. All right, so Central Florida really don't have nobody. 1M, one Metro, one Suburban, 2 Metro, 2 Suburban. So we jump all the way to 3 Suburban. Where you want to start with those guys? Daytona Mainland made it all the way to the state championship. Beat a lot of teams. They beat the number 1 seed on their way to that championship. Beat a lot of teams that people didn't think they would beat. Let me see who else. Who else did they get, man? They ended up playing Lake Wales.
And they lost to Lake Wales in the championship, 32-30. So it was a close game. It could have went either way.
They said it was a controversial call in that game.
It was a couple, but I mean, it was a controversial call last night. If you watch that NFL game.
Oh yeah, that's why you never let it get to that point.
Happens.
But big shout out to Travis Rowland to be able to take your team in its second year to the state championship. That's big. And shout out to, I really do admire the way those boys from Mainland came out. And Charles Carr corrected something. We do need to go back, but we'll go back to that too. But a big shout out to those guys, for knocking that out. Got to give a shout out to AJ Harrell. He's probably the one that's still the most underrated kid out there in Central Florida. Just a dynamic athlete that should be picking up offers. And if he's listening or if anybody knows him, tell him to be patient. I'll explain a little bit later. We're recruiting.
Last week he actually just picked up a Western Carolina. And if you know about Western Carolina draft recruiting class this year, it's pretty loaded with a lot of Dade and Broward County guys. I know headlined by Santana Fleming, Bo Simpson from Seminole actually committed there as well.
Yeah, congratulations to Bo out there, man. Big shot, real good kid. Didn't your boy Ford? I know he just got off a visit there. Did he commit?
Jabari, one from Preston. The running back he did too. Yeah, they class is loaded. So if a shot goes there, he'll add to that class for sure.
Well, shout out to Western Kentucky because what their coaches have done.
Western Carolina,
excuse me. What their coaches did is get a lot of kids that would be normal cycle, group of 5 kids, and they went out there and secured them, and it's only going to make their team better. So that's a big shout out to those guys. But we got to go back, and how can we forget? Cocoa High School went out there and they won 2S, 2 Suburban, and they did it in style. Blake Boda, the man threw for 4,000 yards on the season. Y'all can see my wife back there cleaning up. That's what real players do. You make them clean. They got to earn it.
Hey, just chill, bro. Chill, bro. I do not condone this.
Hey, call the police. I'm getting assaulted. Call the police. Hey, everybody seen it. I'm getting assaulted. Call them. Hey. Oh, AJ, I think I may have messed up my day. Man, but shout out to Blake, man. They did a tremendous job. They did it without one of the more dynamic juniors in the state.
No, he ended up
good.
Yeah, he was straight.
Good. And then we dealing with my boy Stead Hawkins. Congratulations to him. Big shout out to the whole Cocoa coaching staff and that whole community out there. Those boys, they did what they planned to do. So big shout out to those guys.
Yep. Cocoa dominated their district.
Everything. Yeah.
They beefed up their schedule, played a tough Jones team, played a state champion. So they played Jones, who went to the Final Four. They played St. Thomas Aquinas, who won a state championship.
Seminole.
And then Seminole. Seminole, in my opinion, just being honest, probably was in this area, probably was the biggest letdown. But injuries had more than everything to do with how Seminoles season ended.
No, we all know that. So, I'm a big fan of Luke Rucker, and I personally think, that, this is something I would tell some Seminole fans. I hear them, jabber jabbing about Luke, jabber jabbing about Coach. And first of all, Luke is a dog, and Coach is tremendous. A dude can't take you to a state championship, and then you can play, like next year. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, come on,
He's obviously a talented coach, so y'all got to stop that. But I think y'all underestimated Luke, to be honest. Not bad y'all need him. Everybody just assumed that you could do it without him. But, football is probably the ultimate team sport. One guy can make a difference, so he did. So hopefully, you guys get up off Coach and let him just coach. I mean, he won a state championship. That should get you at least 10 years, in my opinion.
Not in Bouquet County.
They're not getting them every 10 years. I can see,
Apopka. 1 year, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, man. Like Apopka, if they want to complain, okay, they get in there, that kind of thing. But Coach is a real good dude, and I just wanted to make sure I said that. All right, so we got out of 2 suburban, 3 suburban. So I guess we got to go to 3 metro. Really, Jones definitely, I guess you would say, would have to be, the 3 metro guy because they beat Edgewater handily, over there at Edgewater. Me and you kind of talked about it, and my motto is hard to beat a good team twice. And I knew that Jones was going to be up for the challenge, and Thule going at quarterback actually gave him a spark. So we knew that they were going to be tough, and they definitely proved it. Jones then went out and had a tough one against Homestead. Homestead is pretty talented though. Homestead is very talented. They they gave St. Thomas all they can handle. So shout out to those Jones Tigers and Coach Elijah Williams for doing what he did. What's your thoughts on Jones?
I thought Jones had a great season. They similar situation like Coco. They beat up their out of conference schedule. Went to Duncanville, played Coco, played Seminole. Played Osceola, played Edgewater twice. Lost once, beat them when it counted. And I just think that it's hard to beat a quality team twice. So we both knew that Jones was going to win that game. But I do think that Jones used so much energy and force to win that game that it was almost too good to be true. So, for instance, in Jones' first 3 playoff games, they didn't have a single penalty on defense. As a coach, you want to be like, hey, man, that's good. But the betting side of me is saying, man, when the bad gonna come? The bad has to eventually come. And that bad eventually came against Homestead, and just enough mistakes cost them. But they had a great season. And yeah, I thought they were real dominant all season.
Yeah, me too.
And not to overshadow Edgewater, because going into the playoffs, Edgewater was the only undefeated team in this area. I think that they showed more of a team. Obviously, C4 and said, we know he's the man, but he missed 5 games, and they did miss a beat. KD, Chase, those guys picked it up on offense. And I just give a lot of credit to Edgewater coaching staff and their players for stepping up.
Yeah, they had their chances against Jones. They had too many turnovers, but they definitely played a great season, nothing to hang their heads on. It would took, they would have had to do all kind of stuff. Jones was definitely not going to let C4 beat them. They had made that up in their mind. While we're at it, and we'll go back and after this too and do this, but man, they was like making sure C4 didn't get loose. And by the way, C4 had a dominant season. If he don't get hurt, we might be looking at 2,500 yards, to be honest. So big shout out to him. I don't even know what he ended up with, but I'm sure it was a lot.
15, 16.
In probably 7, 8 games?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I
But
mean, he had 1,200 after. I mean, he was on pace.
he had
He was
1,200
on pace after week 5 or 6. He was on pace for 2,000 easy.
Yeah. So shout out to those guys. So now we get down to 4 Suburban, which was, in my opinion, probably one of the hardest regions. Like it was real solid across the board. All 4, the final 4 were all pretty good. You had, but speaking of guys in our area, you had Said had just under 1,400. Speaking of guys in our area, you had Osceola. Osceola, they end up having a tough loss to Lakeland, which says a lot, because like I said, it's hard to beat a good team twice. But
did that, and Lakeland state champs.
Yeah, I mean, so you got to give Lakeland credit; they held through. But once again, Osceola had their chances to win that game. But definitely, and also a big shout out. Oh my goodness, look at this. The chat room. Do you see the chat room, AJ?
I can't see it.
I would so Cedric back. Hold on. Watch this. Check this out. So Big said, we trying to figure out what's going on. Big said, hold on.
Just under 14, I see that.
Right. Now this is the trolling from someone who I would never expect this from, to be totally honest. This is like my sister. She really is my sister. And I love her. But this is what she did. Man, she knows she wasn't supposed to say that. But anyway,
listen, but look, this how good he is. When you are bragging about only giving up 150 damn rush yards, do you know how good that running back is?
Yeah, but also too the other thing is, I really only put up there because she had a son that graduated from college. Super Jit.
Yesterday,
Mr. Q. He graduated this weekend on Saturday. So big shout out to him, man. Her and Frank, I mean, they're on a couple. I know all their kids getting degrees. So big shout out to them. They got one more to go with Trevor. So
good kids, too. Good kids.
They did a great job with the kids. I did like, so she know I'm messing with her. But man, but this look who we got. My boy EP. Hey,
but if I be real, besides the Jones game, West Orange would clearly played C4 the best. Like,
the credit got to go to, and he's another kid, that is, I don't understand why these schools ain't all over Noah Nixon. I mean, 6'2", 230, and when you know me, first thing I always ask any kid, who's the toughest guy you played against? And without hesitation, well, I say this, he said Caven Call at defensive end, and he said Noah Nixon at linebacker. He said he was thumping. And, and honestly, West Orange, nobody really ran the ball down their throat like that.
Nobody.
So, big shout out to those guys. But we talking about my boy EP's team, Osceola. Once again, I want to point out to parents in Osceola area, I know for a fact that EP and those guys are out there trying to help your kid get to school. I've heard it from other coaches. Hell, EP them are trying to help other kids from other places get to school. So, when you talk about Seminole, when you talk about, Osceola, guys like that, you talk about Elijah Williams, I know for a fact that those guys have actually reached out to other schools on behalf of kids who did not have their jersey, and that's huge. So, parents, I love when you just support the coaches. I'm not saying support them blindly, but you got to support the coaches who are doing the right thing, because there are coaches. There's a coach around here. I won't say no names, but he told a school that he had these 2 kids that play on the line. He told the school they was too soft. Wow. Your head coach tells people you're too soft when they come to offer you a scholarship. I never heard that before. But so when you got kids that, coaches out there that are supporting their kids and supporting just the areas, because at the end of the day, all these kids are just kids, no matter what. I mean, you just coach them because they go to your school.
But the kids can't be soft though. Like, I mean, because the coach still has a reputation. I understand it's ways to say things. You can't say they soft, man. You might want to say, hey, coach, they might. They might lack that fiery instinct that you're looking for. Like, you gotta, but the coaches do have a reputation beyond years to, so he got to be honest. You can't say soft. Yeah, certain words you can't say. Yeah,
because once you tell a college football coach soft, they ain't even looking at that kid no more. And you can say he needs to develop. Right, but you can't say soft, man. You just can't. But but anyway, man. Before I digress, let's go.
Tell me, who was it, bro? Who was it? I just said.
You better stop me quick because I be hey, put it like this. It's a school I would love. Put it like this. Yes.
No. I don't want to know. Stop.
Stop me, please. But anyway,
no hints.
Yeah, let's move on.
Carl, he'll be the first one to figure out who it is. You give him one hit.
Yeah, he be trying. But so anyway, man, we'll move on. So let's go to 4 Metro. Big shout out to
who? That's Okoye, Popka,
West Orange.
West Orange.
We got them all. So Lake Mary. No, Osceola ain't in it.
We missed Lake Mineola. Where Lake Mineola?
Lake Mineola was in 3 suburban.
3 suburban. They had a good year.
We'll touch this real quick. No, my bad. They're 4 suburban. They lost to Lakeland before Osceola lost to Lakeland.
Exactly. So that shows you the quality of a season that Lake Mineola has, and it's expected at this point. To be honest with you, Banks.
Yeah, Coach Ware. Hey man, we can talk about that. I was gonna save it, but since we're gonna go there, I was gonna save it for one later on. But since you're going there. Hey man, he called out Leesburg.
Hey, listen. Well, we ain't even talk about all of that though. It's a big move.
I was going with
Leesburg. Congratulations to Moffitt, Coach Moffitt, taking that head coach job at Leesburg. But yeah, Banks called out Leesburg right away. He said you can't try to take all the players and not want to play. So that's respect.
Hey. Off the rip. So hey, it's what it is. So hey, big shout out to the Banks, my good cat, out there. Hey, he in Lake County running things. So
Leesburg say they tired of taking that whooping. They've been taking that whooping the last 20 years. They tired.
It was good, man. Like believe it or not, like 2011. It was pretty decent.
10 years ago, cuz what are you talking about?
You said 20, man. Like 20 is like Oak Ridge,
So they had one good season in 25, 20 years.
They had some kids go to Stanford. They was basketball team was fine.
When I graduated 04. Yeah, I don't remember that.
That's for you. You was already gone. But anyway, now we can go to 4 Metro. 4 Metro was an interesting year. You had Lake Mary. We'll start with, we'll just, go through each team schedule from the bottom to the top that made it in the playoffs. So you had Lake
Mary beat Seminole.
Yeah, so Seminole was knocked out in the second round.
They beat Mandarin. They beat Mandarin first.
Then Seminole was the 1 seed, and then they got beat by Lake Mary after that. Rematch. And once again, it's hard to beat a good team twice.
And mind you, Seminole had beat Lake Mary 2 weeks before that, 52-0.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Nothing.
Yeah, and hey, they won. So your boy, we already got some wings off of him beforehand, but he was scared to. I guess if he'd have made that bet, he could have got his wings back.
He probably could have doubled up because I would have doubled up in the playoffs. It was at home.
Yeah, I had a feeling, man, because like I say, I don't never like to bet against. Just like in the NFL, I'm a Cowboy fan. I kind of hope we lose to the Eagles and then we play them in the playoffs because it's hard to beat a team in pros 3 times.
Cowboys, they'll lose to them now and in the playoffs. So
I'm just saying, I hope we don't. I'd rather that. But anyway, so we're gonna go with we took care. Lake Mary had a good season. Braden Marshall ended the season. The freshman quarterback had a phenomenal season. They did good. Since we talked about Lake Mary, we'll go ahead and just go up that bracket. So then after Lake Mary beat them, then they played a Popka. And it was a close game because, Popka is the king of close games. I'm telling you, they I don't know how they do it, but, ain't going to be no blowouts. The game is going to be close, Someone said stop at AG. I don't know who that is.
You don't even know what he's stopping.
So yeah, for real, I done said a lot, but just whoever you are, type your name in there so I can tell me what I need to stop. But nah, man, Popka, ended up beating Lake Mary, but it was a good game for Lake Mary. It was, they did a really good job, and then of course, we'll save after that. We'll go back down. So then on the other side of the bracket, it was what Region 2 was just you had Olympia that lost to the team. They lost to the team that was from out of where are they from?
Who they had?
Yeah, they had a team out of there, like they were the number 2 seed. West Orange was the number 1 seed. Olympia lost to those guys. They were the 7. West Orange beat someone in the first round. I don't remember who it was. Ocoee went down to Durant. Tampa Durant beat those guys. Then Ocoee and West Orange met up. Really good game. Went into overtime. And Ocoee went, Coach Shep won Coach of the Year because he went for 2. Got it. They won 29-28, in a barn burner. You have anything you want to say about
another rematch, wasn't it?
The rematch? They lost 2 weeks early.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on that? Any questions?
I was at that game, West Orange versus Ocoee, and it was at West Orange. And it was a good game. It was a real good game. Like you said, it went to overtime. There was a point where I thought Ocoee was gonna pull away. But I give West Orange
big return by Jay Castell that put him back in the game.
Correct. Jordan got to about the 5-6 yard line. They ran it in the cup. So that actually was the turning play, because at that point I thought it was going to be a runaway. The ensuing kickoff, Jordan takes it almost to the house, and it's like, and it was right before halftime too.
Yeah.
So it was a big swing, but Coach Shep, he gets a lot of credit. Called up a 2-point conversion play. Big Calvin.
We was in the stands. No, yes.
But I mean that's part of it though. I've always grew up in the era where you go for the win on the road as soon as you can, because it's hard to win on the road. So when you had that opportunity, you gotta take that chance.
Yeah, he did a great job, man. I was then they, so they, it was good. Big shout out to Coach Shep. Then they went on the road and played the team Eastlake. That's who it was, Poplar Springs. That's who beat Olympia. And Eastlake, it won 11 in a row, and they played them and they beat them 42-19. Little fella had 9 catches for 269 and 3 touchdowns. So he had a good game, and then that propelled him to go to the state, the finals, state semifinals, and they played Miami Columbus, who real good team. We were up. To everybody's surprise, we was up. It was 21. 24-18 or 24-21 kickoff, and Assad took it back 95 yards. Now it's 30-21. We get a stop, 44 seconds left. Similar to like a coach in the Legends game that decided to go ahead and try to make something happen with time. Was really
I wasn't a head coach. I was on those seats.
That's true. Facts. But we went for it and fumbled. They got the ball back and scored. The momentum kind of got on their side, but it was a dogfight. Ocoee got down to Ocoee actually scored with maybe 3 minutes left, up by 1, but they couldn't stop them boys coming down the field, and Columbus won 41-36. Ocoee had a chance at the end, threw an interception at the 50. They were at the 50, threw an interception like at the 35, game over. So big shout out to Ocoee, first time in school history that they got that far. No one would have suggested they did that. They had a running back that had over 1,700 yards, a quarterback that had over 2,000, and a receiver that had over close to 1,500. So that's a big shout out to them. Shout out to the whole staff and everybody over there. Now we go back to Columbus won and the APK boys won. So here we go with the championship. Hey man, Like I tell everybody, with those boys, with a Popka, you always have to deal with that defense. For a Popka to hold Columbus down like that says a lot about their defense because Columbus is a very good offensive team. They were down 10-3, and the freshman scores a long touchdown run to get them. Now it's 10-10. Then in overtime, they kicked the field goal. It's 13-10. Well, they actually had a chance to win it in regulation, and the field goal got blocked. So then they went to overtime to get the field goal, and then those guys came out with the Philly special. Man, it's just amazing to me how everybody's running the Philly special now. That's like, man, that's almost like in everybody's playbook. But they got it, scored, won the game. Big shout out to Apopka. 3 of the last 4 years, they've been to state finals. They just happened to lose, 3 of those years. So, they lost 3 of them. And then even the 1 year that they lost to Seminole in the state semifinals.
It's like whoever would have won that game was
right.
Well, I mean, they had to play Osceola, so
Osceola had a bad day that day. But it's still, they would have had their chances. They could have been the state 4 years in a row. So, a big shout out to Caven Call. Caven Call is, a guy that he did 4 years, and in 4 years, he won a lot of games. He might his game. He pretty much ended on either the last game before states or at state, and that's huge. So shout out to Caven Call and his family.
Yeah, shout out to Apopka. Shout out to freshman quarterback. You talking about Tyson Davidson? He had a pretty good season. I think he'll build on it. I think Apopka will lean on him even more in the future, obviously with Caleb Hicks graduating. But like you said, Apopka been in the state championship 3 of the last 4 years. Unfortunately, they've lost all of those years, and twice to Columbus. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they were up by 2 scores with 3 minutes to go versus Columbus, and I thought they won the game. Columbus ended up coming back winning. And then we talk about the game on Saturday. Apopka actually had 2 blocked field goals. So they
AJ, excuse me, man, because I might have to. You might have to come over here, man. I'm about to lay my pimp hand down because my wife is over here, man, clowning, bro, and she don't realize, man, I'm on a business show. She needs to relax. I have to show her, she going all through my Facebook phone. I'm like, what? I mean, what? AJ, I'm telling you, man. Hey, man, you might have to come and get me, bro. You might have to come and get me.
Man, I like to mind my business in situations like such.
Hey, you already seen her abuse me, man, but I see you ain't even called the police. That's okay. I see what kind of dude you are. But go ahead. Let's go back to APK.
Man.
Let's go back to APK.
I didn't see it, but going back to APK, they get a lot of credit, Coach Rosen. It doesn't matter the program. It don't matter who there. Obviously it does matter, but at the same time, with Apopka, that program it's gonna produce year in and year out. You might not like the style of play. It might not be high raid, air raid offense, but they're gonna play hard-nosed football, and they're gonna get themselves a chance to win most games that they play.
Man, at the end of the day, you're just trying to get the dubs, man. That's all you're trying to do. You're trying to get the dubs. And one thing, defense wins championships. And one thing about Apopka, their defense always shows up. So, big shout out to Coach Rolson. He's the mastermind. You got, all those guys over there, man, on the defensive side of the ball, from Pooh Bear and those guys, and I think that, kind of, and I tell people this all the time, your team is either an offensive team or a defensive team.
Right.
But defensive teams are always in the game. So big shout out to Coach Wilson for that. So so we went over all that. Talked about the teams. We're gonna come up with our final top 10. We'll put out a roster on that so that as time goes on, you'll see our final top 10. You'll get the flyer and all that good stuff. We're open for arguments. So AJ, do you really want, before we put it out, would you like to set up a poll on our I can do that. Set up a poll and let people vote on, and whoever, put him, and whoever gets the most votes, just see it that's where we know who the people like, and then we'll come back and still get the people what we talking about. All right. So next up, man, I do want to talk a little bit about the all elite 100 team. I don't know if you want to go over all the teams, but I definitely would like to go over the first team,
Go first team.
and then definitely would like to talk about the coaches of the year. We doing something new just to give some recognition to those guys. Matter of fact, you want to start the coaches? Like,
Yeah, we can start with the coaches.
we go. I'll let AJ read them off, and and we'll say a couple of words about each one.
All right, so looking at Coach Holmes, John Holmes out in Titusville. Last season, they were 1-10. This year, they were 7-4. Obviously, they have to play a couple of those teams out in the area. I know they took a loss to Cocoa
Rockledge.
and Rockledge, if I'm not mistaken. But to take a team from 1-10 one year to 7-4, I think that's a tremendous turnaround. So we wanted to recognize Coach John Holmes of Titusville.
Definitely.
Second coach we looking at is Gregor De Niro at Oviedo. Oviedo was 10-2 this year. They had a very successful season. Ended up losing in the second or third round to Jones. So they had a pretty solid season at 10-2. And so hats off to them. Next up, looking at Lake Highland, Coach Bullock led his boys to a state championship, second year in a row. So shout out to Ben Bullock at Lake Highland. Next up, Walter Banks at Lake Mineola. Just the level of consistency that Lake Mineola has to represent Lake County is tremendous. Lake Mineola went 10-2, lost to state champion Lakeland. So that shows you the quality.
No shame in that at all. And then, did they lose to mainland?
They lost to mainland as well. Yeah, so
So
their losses is a team that lost the state championship by 2 points and the team that won the state championship.
Yeah, shout out to Coach.
Yep. Next up, we're looking at Deltona. It's a school that doesn't get talked about much, but the Wolves at one point this season were 5-0. First time in school history that they were ever 5-0. Jeff Smothers finished the season as head coach over there. They went 7-3. So a pretty good season for Deltona Wolves. We give them a lot of credit. Next up, Cypress Creek. Good buddy Doug Gabriel. They finished 7-3 in his first year there. So I think that's a positive step in the right direction, just building a winning culture in the program. So shout out to Cypress Creek and Doug Gabriel. Next up, Edgewater finished the season 12-1, losing losing to Jones in the third round or the second round.
It was third round.
Losing to Jones in the third round. They had a great season. Up to that point, they were undefeated. So Cameron Duke of Edgewater. And then rounding out, I guess you say the guys, you're looking at Coach Travis Rowland at Mainland, state championship appearance. I know their motto was, "This ain't last year." His first year at Mainland, I believe they were 5-5. They still went to the playoffs. They lost to Jones in the playoffs. But he needed a couple pieces to his team, and he got that. And a very good quarterback in DeMarcus Cressy helped take those boys to a state championship. So shout out to Travis Rowland. And next up, Osceola, Coach EP, Eric Pinellas. Another team that the level of consistency is admirable. Osceola lost in the Final Four. The year before that, they lost in the second round to third round to West Orange. The year before that, they lost in the state championship to Seminole. So it's a winning program. So shout out to Osceola as well. Next up, Ryan Schneider over at Cocoa, winning the state championship. As a coach, that's his 5th state championship. Cocoa lost in the state championship last year, so that's back-to-back state championship appearances, and they sealed the deal this year, won it. Then round the last 3, we got Coach Rosen of Apopka. We spoke on Coach Rosen. Very good coach. Apopka's always going to be a player in the mix at the end of the day. Parker lost.
Okay, so I'll keep it up. So Apopka lost in the state finals. Coach Rolson did a tremendous job by making sure that he uh, he did what he was supposed to do and going there and representing. Almost pulled it off. Tough loss in overtime. I know he wanted to talk about Coach Elijah Williams. Coach Williams is, Jones. Jones had, you know, a record for a long time. For the last 5 years, since 5, 6 years he's been there, I don't think that they have gotten worst case scenario to the regional finals every year they've been there. They lost in state. I know like 4 years ago. Then I think they had a regional final loss and a regional finals loss, and they lost this year in the Final Four. So shout out to Elijah Williams, regardless of who's in there. He's doing a tremendous job of getting those guys ready and going. Uh, and then last but certainly not least, you have Coach from McCoy, Coach Aaron Shepard. He did a tremendous job with the team. No one would expect that they would have done what they did. For them to go to the regional finals, was tremendous, and I'm pretty sure they'll be back again this year. So big shout out to him as well. So
Not bad, man.
now you good. I went over here and went over the last three. So the last two, you talked about Rolson, so I was assuming that it was Elijah Williams and Coach Aaron Shepard. So I just finished both of those guys off.
There
All
you
right.
go.
While we here, just in case, I'll let you go over the first team all defense. I'll go over first team offense. If you can tell people about the first team all defensive team, who's our starting. Well, it's pretty simple. I can rattle them out without even looking at the thing. The first team, I know D line. We had Kevin Call for certain, John Walker, Malik Bryant, and Calvin Smith. I'm pretty sure that was our D line. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, it was wrong. With Malik was we actually listed Malik at linebacker.
Okay, we had another D tackle.
Josh Alexander.
Josh Alexander, correct. So those were the 4 D tackles.
And hey, Josh, I don't want Josh to take no disrespect to this, but I do think that this was the one that we missed. If I just be 100% honest, I know Josh personally. I used to train Josh when he was younger, so if anything, I should be saying, yeah, Josh. But the reality of it is, I just saw Sincere Edwards at the Legends Junior All-Star game, and there's no question or no doubt in my mind that he's the best defensive lineman in 2024 and arguably might be the best defensive player in 2024.
Well, we can have that debate. I was going to have that debate. You brought it up early because Sincere could have easily been on that first team defense, to be honest. I think the only reason Sincere wasn't on it this year was because he really plays on the outside, and Caven and Calvin had, phenomenal years. Correct. So I think we were really looking at, D tackles. That's the only reason. Because you're right. I mean, Sincere's an animal. More importantly, he's a great kid. Like, I mean, he gets it. Like, I mean, I'll share with you guys, like, for y'all who don't know me, I sit there and I always pray. I always try to have the kids pray before every game because football is a violent sport. I believe that they have to, give it up to God before they go out there. And so at the game, I was out in the middle of the field talking, and it's time for prayer. And Sincere just like, hey, I got it, and went in and started praying. And it was a good prayer. Well, so big shout out to that. And yeah, this is Kay Monroe. You see, that's number 8, Ezekiel Brinson's mom. So I guess she said, but I'm gonna tell you now, I'm with you. There was not a defensive lineman at Legends that did what he did, and I'm with you. Ezekiel's my dude. Josh, I know she was a kid. Big boy Jones is like a straight up character and fun, but that boy gonna be a problem.
And really between Zeke, John,
they were the problem.
All 4 of them, Zeke, John, Trey, and Sincere, those are four of the better defensive players next year, and they all play D line.
Easily, easily. I mean, that might be that only D line that maybe could have compared to them was that old D line. That came out with Tyler Davis, John, all those guys. That's it. So I mean, but all those guys will be playing major college football. One thing I will say about Zeke that people don't see is he damn near commands a double team. And I realized that at the Legends game. Me and Mike Tunsil was talking about that. Like he commands a double team, and that's important. So big shout to him.
Zeke does the dirty work. If I be honest.
It's not going to ever get noticed really unless you're just really, really paying attention. You
look at his numbers though. His numbers ain't shabby. He's not getting 17 and 20 sacks like those guys, but
he can't because of the position he plays.
Football, like that guy is a valuable asset to your team.
I expect a lot out of him next year too. But let's move on to linebackers.
We got linebackers. We got Noah Nixon, Malik Bryant, and Woodrow Sweet. Woodrow Sweet is out in Melbourne. He was one of the top 10 tacklers in the whole state, almost 200 tackles. Malik Bryant.
Hold on one second. We had that conversation about some other schools. We were sitting up having just sit at the bar drinking water. We were drinking water as we were sitting at the bar. But as we sit at the bar, we do know that there's some schools out there that straight pad kids' stats.
Right.
But to be honest, when you turn the film, that kid, I don't know if it's true, but he's making a lot of tackles. Real tackles. Yeah, he's a hell of a player. Big shout out to him. Malik turned it on so much second half of the season, man. He reminds you who he was. Which that's all you can ask from a kid. And then
early on, it wasn't out there to the media, out there to the people. But Malik, he wasn't 100% early on in the season. He had a couple nagging injuries, nothing too serious, but serious enough that it hindered me from being 110%. So he coming into a new situation. Also, he was playing out of position
at the beginning of the season, right?
So he had to adjust a time where he had to adjust. But once he adjusted, and they moved. Come on, man, I'm going crazy. They moved D-Wade on the other side. Good Lord, have mercy.
That's a nice high school. That's nice high school D line, man.
You got Malik, D-Wade, and then Trey on the inside.
Yeah, no, that's raw. That's raw. And then so now we go to the corners.
Noah Nixon.
Well, Noah was a beast. I mean, we talked about him earlier. He's a prototypical middle linebacker. That's why I'm so confused because everybody swears they want a 6'2", 230-pound guy that's going to come up and knock the crap out of you, and that's who he is. So I'm just totally confused. Just like the kid from Homestead. Everybody said they want a corner with speed, but the kid ran a 10.4 and he runs a 20.53, but he don't have no offers. I'm just like, how is that possible? So and his team went to state, and people were not trying to throw at him. But I don't get it. But that's another story. So let's get on them corners. We got
to the DBs. DBs, we got Bo Masco at one corner, Bo Allen straight lockdown. At the other corner, we have Jordan Castile from West Orange. And then looking at our safeties, we got Cedric Hawkins at Coco. Terrific athlete. Really, he could have been a utility guy because he never comes off the field for Coco. And then at the other DB, we got safety. We got Robert Stafford out of Egali, committed to University of Miami. A terrific athlete, Under Armour All-American. Between those four, I don't see many completions.
Oh no, you're a bad boy. So,
and then the last two spots we have kick return, punt return. That's Jaden Gillens at Jones High School. If you ever go to a Jones High School game, his nickname Booby, but you can hear the whole crowd saying, "Let's go, Booby," because it's almost like anytime he touches the ball in a punt return, kick return situation, legitly he could take it to the house. And even when he doesn't take it to the house, I believe he averaged over 20 yards a punt return. What that does for your offense, you just flip the field. So he helps Jones out a lot. And then the last player, another Jones Tiger, was D Wade, Dylan Wade. The guy, all the games I went to this year, D Wade probably was the most physically impressive looking athlete in his uniform. Like he filled it out. He was a grown man. He played DN. He was the Wildcat quarterback. I would see him also at tight end every once in a while blocking. Very versatile athlete. Committed to Maryland, so best of luck to him.
Yeah, they asked about DJ McCormick. That's a 24 kid at Rockledge linebacker.
Good kid. He's a tackling machine, but to be
Yeah.
honest with you, I mean, these other guys, I mean, if you ask me, do I think DJ is better than Woodrow Sweet? Maybe, but the production points me in the direction of Woodrow Sweet in this category.
The question I have, man, and you know, because when you say Facebook user, I don't know who it is, but I'm assuming that's T-Rone. I'm willing to bet you any kind of money that's T-Rone. T-Rone, if that's me, if that's you, man, give me a thumbs up. If you ain't T-Rone, let us know we're going. Stan is committed to
Ohio State.
It's committed to Ohio State. All right, so that's what we was talking about. Now, offensively, let me go on and get to the. I'm gonna start from the bottom to the top. So our kicker is Grant Reddick. Don't say we don't give love to the kickers and punters. He's at Boone High School. Had a great season. Our utility guy is I knew that was T-Row.
Grant committed to UCF.
Okay, congratulations. Stay at home. You got Tavon Swint, Osceola. Chick is doing his thing. He's had a lot of offers. Chick probably had at least 1,500 yards rushing. He was at one point. He pretty much was the whole offense for Osceola. And it's, when you can get your points, when everybody know that you're the man, that says you're pretty good. So shout out to Chick. Offensive line, Dewan Gilbert, Edgewater, Big Tirade of Apopka. Stop me if you know where they're going to school. Because where's Dewan going to school at?
Dewan's still out there. He's actually going on visits right now. He just took a visit last weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So he's still out there. Tyree, he's committed to Pittsburgh, University of Pitt. So he'll be a Panther.
Right. You have Josiah Chenault, Seminole.
Howard, he's committed to Howard University.
Big gift for them. I mean, then you have Big Bryce Lovett.
Bryce Lovett, that's the University of Florida commit.
And then last but not least, you have Mr. Chris St. Jean, who is committed, but he is going to wait because he's picking up offers. So he decided to wait. He was committed to West Virginia. But he's steady picking up offers. As a matter of fact, he got picked up off from Colorado. So big shout out to Big Chris. A great kid, great family. Because now we can get to the guys that you have Danny Farmer, 2024 wide receiver. Big shout out to him. He should be the guy that everybody be gunning for next year as far as the top receiver in the area. But he had him a tremendous season. But he had that guy that was throwing it to him. But we'll talk about him in a second. Then you had John Celestine, running back from Lake Mineola. John had what? How many yards? Like close to two stacks or something like that.
Yeah, John had 1,700 yards, but he had 30 plus touchdowns.
I know it's something.
32 touchdowns, 32 on the year. So you had that many touchdowns.
If you have 32 touchdowns on any season, and I don't even give a damn if you played 15 playoff games. That's a lot of touchdowns. So shout out to him. And do we know where he's going?
No, John is not committed yet. He's still out there. Yeah,
I'm telling you. But and we'll get into that in just a second too. Then we had AJ Harrell, who went out there. Picked, like you talked about him a little bit earlier. Picked up. He's from Mainland. Picked up a Western Carolina offer.
You talk about AJ Herrera real quick. This kid had over 300 yards all-purpose in the state championship game. That's just big time players make big time plays.
Against a good team, against a team that wasn't giving up much all season.
Yeah, so his legacy at Mainland is pretty solid.
Yeah, he should definitely go in the Hall of Fame. Definitely. Yeah, and then let's see here. All right, then we have I tell you, that's T-Rone, boy. He gonna argue down, boy. And then you got definitely the other receiver was Hassan Wasim Okoye. He had okay season, I guess. He did.
Assad finished the season with 20 plus touchdowns. In the playoffs alone, he had about 1,000 yards all purpose. I believe in the regular season, he finished the regular season just under 1,800.
He had like he finished the regular season with like probably like 850, 860. And then
I said the regular season. He finished the season.
Yeah, all purpose over 2,000. All he had 1,490 something, and really we didn't even count up all of his. We didn't even count punt returns. So he probably had a little more than that. But it is what it is. But he had him a good season.
He's committed to Colorado to go on over there with Coach Prime and change the game. I heard Coach Prime said he can't change the weather, but he could change the game. So Assad's gonna go on over there with him and help change the game some.
Shout out Assad did a commitment video with Coach Hayes. It'll come out on what's today? Today Monday, right?
Yep.
It'll come out on Wednesday on signing day. So please, if you go to YouTube, Coach Hayes Football, it's it's actually pretty funny. The dude, had a lot of hate for his pops, but that's okay. It still was funny. It made me laugh, so I couldn't get too mad at it. But yeah, shout out to him. Coach Prime is out there, good school, good facilities, all that good stuff. And needless to say, we'll be trying to get as many elite players as they can to go out there to Colorado and be, with the program. All right, and then the last two guys, man, definitely, Cedric Baxter. We're gonna talk about him next. And running back, like we talked about him a little bit earlier, Said could have easily, if Said don't get hurt, getting 2,500 yards. He's setting all kind of new records. Oh, by the way, you got Coach Hayes on here, man. And I don't want to give it away, but y'all gonna see this man laughing at me on tape, and but it's okay. But it's really a hilarious episode, man. You guys will enjoy it. I think that thing gonna drop probably at 12 noon or 12:30 on Wednesday, and it's gonna be pretty exciting. But like I said, CB4 explosive, did everything he's supposed to do. He's going to be headed off to Texas. Look forward to seeing him in that burnt orange. I got family there, so of course I'm going to go check up on him and make sure he's good. But I wanted to get to this guy because he's going to be my next up. Our last final segment after this is recruiting. But Blake Boda, we talked about him a little bit. Blake is a kid that did everything he's supposed to do. Truly believe he's one of the more elite quarterbacks coming through Central Florida in a long time. Like I told somebody, when you have a quarterback that threw for 4,000 yards, that's unheard of. Just like for CB4 to have 1,200 yards like in 6 games, unheard of. For Assad to have 1,500 yards, that's unheard of. That just don't happen. So, but Assad and Blake are prime examples of if you put it down your senior year, but you have to put it down. You can still get off. So Blake has picked up UNLV, South Florida, a lot of other offers, and I think he's going to go somewhere. He's going to be ready to compete, definitely. So, shout out to him. So that brings us up to the recruiting piece. I just want to tell parents we're going to have a free recruiting seminar online on Thursday night, free. It'll be online. Please, if you can attend, please do so. We'll answer questions, but I want to make sure the parents understand recruiting is not over. Just because you don't sign on the first signing day, things have changed. Now the first signing day is primarily for transfer portal kids and kids that probably with 3 or 4 stars are kids like Blake who blew up in the playoffs and everything else. There are going to be a lot of FCS schools, a lot of smaller schools that are going to be. They basically said we're not recruiting anybody in high school until after December. That's pretty much what it is right now. If you don't have your offers and all that in line, and you don't have that kind of senior year, they will wait and recruit you later. So don't get discouraged. We do have an Elite 100 showcase that we'll be doing on January 14th. We've already had 15 schools that have committed to come. You can go to Florida Minority Coaches Association, and you can see the schools on the flyer. You'll start seeing the flyers out. We will cap it at 250 kids. So please hurry up and get your kid registered if he doesn't have any scholarships today. But don't get discouraged. There's a lot, because there'll be another signing day. There will be another signing day that is coming up. There will be another signing day. So please remember, the next signing day will be the first Wednesday in February. So it's not over. Like a lot of these schools, what's going to happen, they're going to go on Christmas break, they'll get back January 4th, and they're going to be back at it. So, hey, kids, make sure you're, prime example. I had schools coming in looking at kids in December. They come to schools with their flip-flops on, not looking presentable. Hey, if your kid ain't got a scholarship right now, please make sure when he goes to school, he has on his tennis shoes. He looks presentable. He does everything he's supposed to do. It's the time to make sure his grades are tight, because a lot of kids, there's some kids out there that can play, but they can't go to school because of their grades. So let's make sure we understand. But trust me, recruiting is not over. Recruiting, and even some of the major schools. What's the boy that started for Florida this year? The wide receiver. He had no offers, and he ended up going to Florida because of his senior year. So, guys, don't be afraid of that. What's your thoughts on that, AJ? We talked about it before.
I think that Harrell at Mainland, I think he's going to be another one that's going to continue to pick up offers. You talk about a kid that had over 2,000 yards all-purpose, 31 touchdowns on the season. Just similar to Blake, a guy that's going to blow up at the end. I think that the quarterback position is the position, in my opinion, that's being hurt the most in this whole recruiting situation. When you look at the transfer portal, quarterbacks single-handedly is the position that is being hurt the most by the portal. And those quarterbacks, if you're not a 5-star quarterback, a high 4-star quarterback, you'll get your offer in December, January. And like you're saying, it's just a new game, a new age. Parents, coaches, everyone involved just has to understand what's going on. And,
well, your junior year is, and I told people this last year, your junior year is your important year now. You can almost, excuse my French, you can almost shit the bed on your senior. But your junior year, if you want the attention of Power Fives, it's very important to be going these camps your freshman and sophomore year. Like I tell people all the time, you don't have to go to my camp. You don't have to do nothing with it, but you better get your kid in front of camps. You better be somewhere. So, and we're not talking about, where you're paying an arm and a leg, stuff that goes literally in front of college coaches. Yeah. Yeah. So, she is correct, and we left that off. That was because he is on there.
He made the second team. Austin made second team, all elite. But yeah, Austin was a terrific athlete for Coy. He played receiver, safety, punted some when he wasn't injured. He was the holder for the extra points. He did everything. So yeah, Austin Ware.
We don't have time to go over second and third team because we went over our allotted time. But if you go to our Instagram, our social media platforms, you'll see all that. So it'll be out. Yeah, he is a great kid. Been a great kid. Austin is another kid that will hopefully sign later on. Once everybody gets out of like after Wednesday. So actually, me personally, after Wednesday, it's an exciting time because you'll start seeing kids get offers that you never thought they'd get them. Because now what's going to happen Wednesday, and since everybody on here grown, everybody 18 and up, you know how we used to go to the club and, you up in that club and, early on, you aiming for,
let out.
That thing, boy. You going at it, you like, hey, ho. But about 12:45, 1 o'clock, after you had a few drinks, all of a sudden, boy, you like, hey, what's your name, shorty? So, hey, everybody know I didn't ever have to go through that because I was always let go by 12:45 because I had to do that. I had some partners, they was parking lot pimping.
So basically, you said if a kid don't sign early signing, it ain't over yet because it's like the let out where where
Yeah,
you wait
yeah.
in the parking lot to see what's going on.
Hey,
And
you may mess around and find a dime, and hey, it's been because a few times it wasn't because of me. My boys had weak games, so I got to be at the club waiting on them. And hey, in that shuffle, I saw me a dime, and I think, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna say I
goodness,
would have met
bro.
my wife. I met my wife that night because I'm up in the club trying to leave. My
You
boy
got
wouldn't want to leave. I'm telling you. Then hey, I saw by 2 in. I said, okay, let me go on and do my thizzle. Rest is history. I've been married now for 22 years. Rest is history. But it was, hey, if it wasn't for my boy, resting in peace, Johnny from Houdini, was, up in the club playing around, I would have never, got to get with my wife. So, hey, sometimes you can find that diamond in the that diamond in the rough at late at night. See, Kay know what I'm talking about. Look at Kay. Kay know what I'm talking about. She got that LOL. Hey, because women do the same thing now. Hey, I done seen that too. Women be up in the club going after one dude, and then late at night, hey, they let that little brother go ahead and take him home, and then take him to IHOP and let him pay for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
stay focused. Yeah, be ready. Recruiting ain't over yet.
I've been
It
trying.
ain't
Hey, man, you
dead.
got to put it in terms that people can understand, baby. They got to know what. Hey, you see, they realized when I said that they knew the analogy, bro. They knew the
I know
analogy.
that's just one community. The other community, they don't have a clue what the
And
hell you talking
we don't
about.
have no. I don't know if we have, but believe it or not, they do too. Hey, trust me.
It ain't the same, man.
Hey, man, trust me. Hey,
The minute I said the let out, everybody knew exactly what that meant. The other community don't know what I'm talking about. They're like, the let out, what's that?
hold on. I got Ryan. If Ryan, he the only other community I saw. Now, I bet you Ryan know what we talking about. I guarantee
He
you.
don't count though. He like,
Because
he's like,
first of
he
all,
is of this community.
hold on, he's not this community. But first of all, you know damn well the only difference is they club letting out at 10:30 because they're already home chilling. We don't leave the club to 5 in the morning. The club closes at 3. You know what I'm saying? But nah. So here he come. Yeah. See, like you see Ryan though. Yeah, but
Yeah, look at it. Look at his profile picture.
Hey, yeah,
Ryan is of the
yeah,
community.
he is. He don't count. Like you're right. He don't count. Ryan is in the community. But hey, shout out to y'all guys. Hey man, support the Elite 100 senior all-star game. We really are trying to help these kids get scholarships. Scholarships are scarce now, but I truly believe a lot of our kids just need people to see them. And and we'll have a better idea of who needs what after this first signing day. Because there's going to be a lot of schools that thought they were getting kids that they didn't get. And now they're going to be looking at some of our kids. But the most important thing for you parents who aren't seniors, make sure your kids' grades are Trump tight. That's all. That's your only job. Because what we don't want is your kid to have the talent to go to school, but he don't have the grades to go to school. And I think they're talking about bringing back the SAT requirements for these guys coming out next year. So because they would have been the class that COVID didn't interrupt them. So I think they're going to talk about bringing that back. So parents, you have to be on top of the game. But all right,
Well,
with that,
one thing I got to say to end it off real quick is Elite 100 All-Star Game, January 14th at 7 p.m. Lake Minneota High School. Pretty soon here, you're going to see a lot of these kids on social media doing a push-up-a-thon, a fundraiser to help raise money. Just support the young men. It just makes things easier, makes for a better product. And then secondly, the same day, January 14th, at Lake Minneota High School across the street. I'm not sure the name of the field, but it's right there across the street, literally from the high school. We're doing a 2023 unsigned prospects camp. So any 2023 athlete that's looking for a college home, bring them out, let them know about the combine that we're having. They'll be able to show a lot of different coaches on site what they could do, how they move in space, and go from there. Just try to help themselves get another opportunity to play at the next level.
Hey, and the most important thing about that is in conjunction with the Florida Minority Coaches Association. For those who didn't know about that, last year we had a coaches clinic, and at that coaches clinic was Jimbo Fisher, Dabo Swing, guys of that nature. So, everything's about helping those kids. And if you go to the website, it's floridamca.com, floridamca.com. The first thing that pops up, and it tells you the schools that have confirmed. So as Edward Waters, Allen University, Rhode Island, Stetson, Johnson C. Smith, A&T, Morris Hill, Catawba College, Warner, Southeastern. We have colleges from all around the area in the country coming. So, once again, we're going to limit it to 250 people. So, please make sure that you get your kids out there. I think we have 150 slots left. So make sure that you get them out there. That's about it. And hey, we'll catch y'all next week sometime. We're going to be doing a few more of these. Hopefully, we'll see you guys on Thursday. Go on at the it's Facebook Live, not a Zoom call with talking about recruiting. Thanks a lot. All right, y'all be good. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, man. So.